I was very hard on myself, and very like really condemned kind of my actions. And, like, maybe I'm not just trying harder. And this last ascent, I felt I spent a lot more time being curious and just being like, oh, I wonder like where this is from. Instead of like, why are you here? Like you shouldn't feel anger and like suppress kind of thing. It was like really like that curiosity that started building, which is subtle at first.
Hi, everybody. This is another testimony from an old friend of mine. We haven't met in like 4 years about his experience with the Ascend program. Hey, Leo, would you like to introduce yourself a bit?
Yeah, good to see you, Andy. Hey, I'm Leo. I'm a second gen from Canada. Right now, I'm working as a cook, kind of at a retreat center. Um, yeah, so happy to be here.
Okay, nice. Yeah, and you participated in the previous Ascend, and before then, you had attended like a while back, right?
Yeah, so I was in Ascend, yeah, this last quarter, and then I joined the 40-day challenge kind of before that. But I think my journey started a lot longer, a while ago, like you mentioned.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think my first group was it was probably like 2018 all the way back, but I didn't end up completing that group. I had a lot of other personal things going on, so I ended up dropping out. Yeah, and then I think my main like high noon era would be kind of 2021 to 20 start of 2023.
Mhm.
And then I took a break again. Yeah, decided to come back.
Mm. All right. Yeah, so you started or you met High Noon a long time ago, and that didn't really work out for you. And then you had like 2 years, 2021 to 2023. How was that experience back then? Like, that's not your most recent experience, but those 2 years.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think back then it was a little bit intense. I think my first group back was it was the high noon boot camp. So it was kind of like 3 check-ins a day with my facilitator ended up being Andrew Love of all people. So it definitely felt a bit intense. It felt like I definitely grew so rapidly though with the simple program. Yeah, and then I think after that, like my continuation of it, the groups all went very well. And I felt I got to a point where I was like, oh, I'm good. I don't really need this, which kind of caused a break. And then some extra stress added to it. And instead of reaching out, I kind of just internalized it like, oh, maybe I won't be accepted back deal. And I had to process some other things and emotions. Yeah, but overall, I think it was a very good growing period of my life.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. So you did the boot camp back then. It doesn't exist at the moment. But I did the boot camp too back then. We might have even been in the same group, if I remember right. But
I think you were in like the European one and I was in the North American one. Yeah. But I ended up doing the boot camp twice. So like kind of a year apart too.
yeah. All right. Got it. Yeah. So that's cool. So you had that like rapid growth experience and like intense experience back then. And then you decided to join again recently, right? So what inspired you to come back, right? Like you took a break and then came back.
Hmm.
What was the reason for that?
Hmm. I think for me, it got to a point where I had to honestly look at myself and like I was struggling a little bit. And I was like, oh, maybe like obviously this high noon lifestyle, it's something you like continuously work on. It's not like a one and done. And then so when I found myself struggling again, I kind of let go of that idea and then reached out to Andrew originally, just being like, hey, when is the next quarter starting? And he recommended the 40-day challenge, which I kind of went through right before the quarter started. Yeah, and so I think it was definitely just more honest look of myself and kind of who I wanted to be. Uh, yeah, and then yeah, so I ended up back in this quarter.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, you got back in, you found yourself at a place, yeah, where you felt like you had to grow more and get back into the program. How was it starting again with Ascent? Did any
Uh,
challenges come up or was it a smooth entry? How was that for you?
yeah, big question. I think it was pretty challenging, to be honest. I think, having gone through so much and like coming back where I felt like I was kind of at a place of zero, definitely almost humbled me a bit, like I'd gotten to the point before where I was a co-facilitator and the leading groups. And then after this break, I was just like, not that there's anything wrong with going back to participant, but it gave me a sense of humility. Um, yeah, I think some other challenges. Yeah, I think a lot of them were internal, but also externally. I was kind of in the process of like moving, and I don't have the most reliable Wi-Fi out where I live, and so I kind of had to drive 30 minutes to our office in town just so I could attend calls and stuff like that. Yeah. And then I think another challenge is I tried to set a determination to kind of check in with my mentor every day. And my mentor ended up being someone I attended the boot camp with. And so just to kind of see our difference, I definitely noticed a lot of comparison between me and him at the beginning. But we both kind of started at the same place, and now I'm back where I am. And then he's kind of already much ahead of me. Yeah, and I think it was an acceptance of everyone's story and journey is kind of different, which was definitely a struggle early on to just accept.
I see. Yeah. So that's, yeah, a few different things, right? Some logistical challenges, and then I guess your perception of yourself, right? Like feeling like you missed out or you were slower than others. Did you like, yeah, were you able to overcome those challenges? And was there like a turning point for you?
Yeah, I think I definitely overcame those challenges and just kind of accepted where I was at. Yeah, I mean, I think a turning point for me was I ended up having another kind of follow-up call with Andrew, just checking in and seeing how, yeah, how I was doing. And he recommended that I get, I guess, more professional help just because I've been struggling for a while and doing really well, but then I kind of ended up self-sabotaging, taking a break. Yeah, so I've been also going through the journey course with Gene Honeycutt, which has been super helpful in just kind of understanding. Yeah, just like really going into, past childhood wounds, my own story and all this stuff. It's definitely been quite heavy, but it's definitely something I see as a turning point and made kind of the future ascent call much more light in my eyes, and not to compare myself to others as much. It's accept that my own story is my own story. Yes. Yeah, I would say that was definitely.
Yeah, that's amazing. It sounds like you found a lot of love and acceptance for your story, right? And like your journey, right? And everybody has their individual journey. And kind of using this gym analogy, right? It sounds like you didn't only sign up for like a gym membership where you go to occasionally and you work out, but you got like a whole course, right? That you had to sign up for and like went out of your way to do something extra. And like the journey course, like doing extra therapy work, and that helped you a lot. So I'm curious, and I think it'd be really helpful to know for people what were like some of the key elements or like lessons that you were able to learn over this past 3 months. Now, of course, it's not like one and done, right? As you said, but what are the key elements of your progress?
Key elements of my progress. It's a good question. I think something was like a mind shift. Um, yeah, I think looking back and reflecting even on my past kind of pioneering ascend programs or boot camps, I kind of really I was very hard on myself, and very like really condemned kind of my actions, and like maybe I'm not just trying harder. And this last ascend, I felt I spent a lot more time being curious and just being like, oh, I wonder like where this is from, instead of like, why are you here? Like you shouldn't feel anger and like suppress kind of thing. It was like really like that curiosity that started building, which is subtle at first, not gonna lie, but it's like, yeah, I would just like take a step back and just realize I am feeling stressed because of these certain factors. So maybe that's why I ended up relapsing, or like, yeah, just not being as critical, step in the right
Mhm.
direction. And was a kind of a result of a lot of the work I've been doing the last like 2 years, like
Mhm.
praying a lot more, like journaling, understanding my emotions and meditating, all kind of stuff. Yeah, but that was definitely a big mindset shift.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it sounds like instead of being like really hard on yourself, right? It changed from being overly critical with yourself towards being curious about your situation. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then cool. And it's all yeah, that you express that curiosity got expressed in like action, right? It became curiosity, which is a healthier approach. Um, and then you followed that up with action, like journaling and talking to more people. So that's interesting, right? Because it involves two parts, which one is like the healing part, like changing the inner voice. What helped you have that change of mindset from like being overly critical to being curious and like constructive with yourself?
I think it's like the something that Andrew Love has said, and also Gene has also mentioned and kind of talked about in my group, is that uh, yeah, some of the stuff I kind of was dealing with and am still kind of continuing to deal with is like a lot of stuff happened when I was a kid. And so, receiving that grace, like, oh, you were just a kid. Like, have you seen a 10-year-old recently? Have you seen like a 14-year-old recently? And it was very like, oh, right. And I take a step back. Well, like, they're really just kids, which is, yeah, like after explaining it in that context, it's like feels so heavy, almost burdensome. Be like, oh wow, that person dealt with so much. They're like a child, basically. And kind of like that continuation of that definitely helped shift my mindset. Yeah. And I think that happened in many like different ways, like conversations with people, like, oh, this happened to me. But like we're only 9. Like, have you seen a 9-year-old recently? And then yeah, I think just like this is so random. My sister ended up sending me like just like photos of when we were all kids. And some of my story work that I've been kind of processing is like around that time frame. And I like look at this little kid, little me, with like the straight bowl cut hair, everything. Wow, that kid was me, and like that kid was so hard on themselves because they had to deal with all these kind of different things, and that kind of played out into where I am today. Yeah, but it was just like, wow, look, this little kid, they're like so innocent, pure, and just like yeah, so childlike because they're a child, and so that yeah, seeing those pictures, it's kind of like going back to them every day definitely shifted my mindset for sure. Definitely not perfect yet, but it's a work in progress, which I appreciate.
Yeah, yeah, you appreciate the progress. Yeah, that sounds amazing. Yeah, I mean, what I'm hearing is that basically the extra work that you've been doing, right? And like going back to the stories of your childhood, right? Like connecting with, some people call it like inner child, right? Connecting with your inner
Mm,
child, the boy, and kind of the wounding, the drama that that boy has experienced and kind of letting the boy heal. Because that's when it started, that's when you're being harsh on yourself and being like overly critical on yourself started, right? And it kind of carried into adulthood. And so going back to the stories, letting them flow helped you to move kind of on from that towards being more curious and being letting innocence back in your life. That's what it sounds like.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Cool. Yeah. And then, yeah, would you say that that plus following it up with action, right? Like doing the reflection and talking to people, that helped?
Yeah, I would say so. I think, you know, for a while you are either like one, or at least me, I was like one or the other. Oh, I spent so much time healing and all this stuff, but it wasn't followed up by action and time, like periods of my life where I found so much action. Like, oh, I'm working out every day, I'm praying, meditating, I'm on it. There was still kind of like this gnawing feeling, oh, you're not doing
Mm.
enough. And like, and then like condemning that feeling, not doing all that stuff. So I think it's definitely a balance between the two, like healing and action.
Yeah, it sounds like, is that like kind of looking for balance and looking for the sweet spot, right? Between keeping and upping your standard, right? And like what you can do in life, but also not doing that in a self-condemning way, right? And like maintaining that innocence, kind of childlike innocence, right? That you are able to restore or started restoring through the story work you've been doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely a balance just because, there were weeks where I felt a lot of painful things had come up and then I wasn't taking care of myself as well. And then weeks I was kind of taking care of myself more, I wasn't doing as much work and kind of procrastinating the like worksheets and healing work that I was going through. So I think it's just fine tuning that balance. Yeah, which is kind of showing up every day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's definitely about finding balance, right? It's not only a mind exercise, which that's part of it, but also creating habits and implementing them in our daily life. So yeah, you sign up to be a facilitator for the next cycle of Ascend, right? Kind of stepping up, like continuing your own journey and your own growth, and at the same time allowing others, kind of carrying others with you and facilitating that environment for others. Is there something else, anything else that you'd like to share, or how you envision your journey to continue in the next cycle?
Uh, yeah, good question. Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely envision to just continue my own growth and support others as best as I can. I think for me, I kind of uh, diminished or kind of minimized my own pain or experiences or things like that, and feeling like I didn't have that much to offer. But looking back, yeah, you mentioned before the boot camp doesn't exist. It was pretty intense, like 3 check-ins a day with that facilitator, who ends up being Andrew Love, like now the director of High Noon. A lot of pressure, and all that stuff. And yeah, and then as well as my experiences kind of like outside of High Noon, I took a break and decided to come back. And, I think just accepting that and accepting that I do have things to offer and give is just like what I want to take into this next quarter and just, yeah, support and grow as much as we all can together, collectively.
Great. Yeah, I mean, I think that's really cool that you have a vision, right? Like you just feel like it's not a one and done, and you're continuing on your journey, and it'll like require more work and like consistency, right? Because there are a lot of people who feel like, and we just talked about it recently with some people, right? The kind of misinformed gym mentality that is like, I'm gonna go to the gym for 3 months, 4 months, I'm gonna be buff, the buffest in my life I've ever been, and then I'm done with it, kind of thing. And then after that, people get fat again, and they continue eating potato chips or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I kind of picture it as like brushing your teeth or going to the dentist. Like it's like little things too, like you can brush your teeth for 1 hour every month, 2 hours every month, which would kind of be nasty. And like you also can up that with like flossing, like using mouthwash and stuff. But then, yeah, no matter like kind of how much you brush your teeth, I guess there's still like you can always go to the dentist and get like professional cleanings and check for cavities, all that stuff. And like your diet has so much to do with it too. Yeah, just so many different factors that consistency definitely works better, like in that context for my brain.
Mhm. Yeah, cool. So I guess wrapping this up, and perhaps to anyone who's listening, who's on the verge of like signing up for Ascend or a Heinun program, is there anything you would like to share with them?
I would say if you've never signed up, sign up just because you feel like you've done something wrong. I feel, like there's so much grace, acceptance to be given, and you really don't know anyone's story until you kind of, yeah, are in an environment where you share your own and listen to others. Yeah, and then even if you have signed up, taking a break, feel like you won't be welcomed back. This is clearly not the case. I'm still here. Yeah, so I kind of encourage, yeah, anyone kind of thinking about it or just feels like they want to grow in some capacity, I would say to definitely join Ascent. And maybe we'll see each other in a group, which would be so sick. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Sounds good. Yeah, thank you, Leo. And that's it. Thanks everyone for chiming in again. And we'll hear you again for the next testimony next time.
Hey, if you are struggling to break free from porn and masturbation and you really hate this behavior, then don't skip this part, guys. Ascend is open for you guys. Ascend is our program for sexual integrity training. We have groups of men and women separated by gender. We have mentors to help guide you through the process of having sexual integrity through quitting porn and masturbation, unwanted sexual behaviors and thoughts. So if that's you, go to highnoon.org and you can join a program right here, right now, today, my friends. All right, see ya.